I mean, yeah, I've seen beds for like 1,500 quid, including kitchen units in some cases.
Yeah.
Anymore.
It is quite a game changer, and like you said, pricing has come down massively. Yeah.
Dad joking, you don't want them right at the back of the van. I don't like that. So we've seen the brand new vans recently at the NCC. And I've also spoke to Steve at Cooler Commercials, who sells more affordable vans, shall we say, but that generally is just panel vans. It's not generally campervan conversions. So what if you've got a used van and you need it to be converted? Or what if you're looking for a van, but it isn't a brand new one? In that case, you're going to be looking for a campervan conversion, which means it's kind of a different side of the market. So today I'm going to investigate that, find out what kind of services they offer, what people are looking for at the moment, what they're buying. And I've actually got a little bit of work myself. Been involved in an accident, but that's going to come into another video. But today I actually had a Leighton Vans Badgeless grill fitted, something which I've had for ages and I really needed it doing. So I did that, just something else they offer. So yes, I'm here at Templeway Campers. So hello, Lewis, how are you doing?
Not too bad at all. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a little while since
it has been
last time.
Yeah, definitely been a little while. We've expanded since then. So yeah, we
certainly have. This
wasn't
quite like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how are things for you at the minute?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I mean the market for conversion seems like it's pretty buoyant. For a lot of good converters out there, still they seem to be busy. In terms of us, our diary's still the same, sort of 3 or 4 months ahead. But yeah, the used conversion market as it is, where like you said, people have got a panel van and they want it converted to something different. That market still seems to be pretty strong. And over the winter and as we move into the spring, it'll only become busier and busier for a lot of people once the weather warms up a bit and the rain disappears after a little while.
It's been absolutely dreadful this last summer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
really
not the best summer, but it doesn't seem to have put people off from wanting to get out and about.
But yeah, I mean, people haven't got like I showed at the NEC, the cheapest transporter is like 60 grand, which is a lot of money. And that is for basic spec. You know, that's kind of start line. Or commerce, if you saw my video the other day about the brand new transporter. I'll speak to you about that in a minute. But people haven't got that kind of money. I mean, I've not myself. I mean, I've still got a T6. I want a new van. But I can't afford one. And if I can't afford one, then I either do with what I've got or potentially kind of upgrade it. And that's kind of where you come in and helping me out with my grill. I
think like you said, that's that difference between going and buying 60, 70 grand's worth of van or upwards as a brand new van, whereas like you were talking about, you met with Steve at Cooler and he's supplying used vehicles. He probably supplies maybe 8 or 10 a year to our customers. We're only a small business, so we'll probably convert 25 to 30 vans a year, but they're not all your traditional like kitchen down the side, rock and roll bed type layout. Some people want it more for a weekend or a day van, so they might just want a pop top or just want a full width bed in the back of it. So you've got to be really flexible in terms of what people want and be able to have those different design features to really fit everybody's sort of layout. And we're noticing that things like the U shape is becoming more popular.
It is, yes.
And I saw a few up at a show the other week that look quite smart.
Yeah, I do love the U shape, but I'm a believer. I genuinely am, and I know people do disagree with it, but having somebody travelling right next to that back door
makes you all a bit nervous.
It's a little bit, really, you know, any kind of indent coming into that door and it's going to hit the person. That's because some of these U-shaped beds, they're not proper travelling seats.
No, they're not. And also they're in that comfort factor, like you sit in, like in this, sit in a rib, and it is super comfortable. Or, you know, sit in a Fabworks or something like that, a proper decent rock and roll bed for travelling passengers. At least you've got some space between you and the rear of the van if there is an incident there. Look, you hope there never is, but at the end of the day you're relying on other drivers as well. Yeah,
absolutely right. So you're seeing a lot of that at the moment then, are you? People coming in for kind of, like you mentioned, the pop tops and things like that?
Yeah, I think as with most of it, conversions is always a big part of our business, but at the same time you've got loads of people out there with vans converted that this year they're thinking, right, well, what's the next upgrade I'm going to do? Like you talked about with a grill, okay, small upgrade to do, but for other people we've been saving up last year and actually we realised that we want a pop top. So it's a retrofit pop top to a van that's already converted as a possibility, which is doable. And it's just it's just getting those little upgrades for people that they've already owned a van, they've lived with it for a period of time, but now they're thinking about, well, what would make my life a bit easier? And things like pop tops or solar panels or a heater or something on that sort of, especially heater at the moment. As soon as the weather turns cold,
Yeah.
the phone starts ringing off the hook for heaters because everybody thinks, especially this year, because it felt like it got colder a bit sooner than we were all planning
Yeah, it's
on it
really
getting.
dead. Yeah, it's dropped down, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, but a lot of
I've
it.
even got jeans on. What's
I
that
know.
about?
Yeah, we've been in trousers for a couple of months now, unfortunately. But yeah, a lot of it is also about upgrades because it's full conversion's all well and good, but at the end of the day, you've got to offer a multitude of services. If you just sit there and say, yeah, we're only going to do full conversions,
Yeah.
well, then you're limiting your business, and the person who ultimately has something done to their van this time might be in 2 years' time wanting to upgrade that van to something newer, in which case then chances are we get an opportunity to quote for the business to do the full works rather than the add-on bits next time. So yeah, but it is but like I said, it seems to be going reasonably well for most good converters at the moment still.
Good stuff. I have been seeing, just talking about upgrades, lots of questions kind of sometimes get posed to me and in past and things, and a lot of people talking about upgrading to lithium. From the the leisure batteries which they got rid of the AGM batteries. Obviously, it's not for everybody, and what some people are struggling with is, well, actually, it's not just a case of changing your battery. Yes, a lithium is better. They've come down a heck of a lot in price.
Yeah, massively.
They've come down big in price. They are a lot smaller. They're a lot lighter. They last longer. They are definitely well worth buying. But then it's like, well, yeah, but your system, which you've got in there, can't power that. Or you need a DC, and it's like, oh well, yeah, but that's going to cost me. Yeah, but that's kind of what you have to do. Are you seeing a lot of people upgrading that kind of thing?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, as from January 2025, we've tweaked our conversion prices a little bit, but all of our conversions will include lithium as standard on all of the vans, just because from a life cycle point of view, and for us as a business, you've got to be realistic that if you've got the fridge running all the time through the summer and it's warm outside and you're trying to get the fridge cold, then you're going to use more battery power. So your standard AGM batteries, as we were using, as a lot of people use, they've only got a limited life cycle to them. So maybe 2-3 years, maybe a bit more if you've got solar on there. But if you work on sort of a couple of years, well, every time you want to replace that battery, you're into a couple of £100 a time. So we've taken the decision that actually we put a lithium battery in there as standard with all Victron charging equipment, and you've effectively got up to a 10-year life cycle with it. So chances are most people will only own the van for around 10 years anyway. So that way, although we're probably doing ourselves out of a bit of business from changing batteries for people, at the same time, we want to give that peace of mind that actually this van's good for a long period. So it does slightly more expensive at the beginning, but when you work that out over a time period of 5 years or 10 years, you'll save yourself a lot. And it's the same as you say, yeah, I've got to upgrade my charging system, but look at how much more usable power I've got and how much more useful that is for me being away.
And I think that's kind of what people don't really see. Yeah, it is a little bit more. I mean, you know better about prices than I do. I mean, it's not as much more as it used to be.
No.
But people don't see, well, actually, it is going to last longer, as in the lifespan of that battery, and also it's going to last longer in day-to-day use. You know, your AGM, you can't discharge, too much, whereas lithium, you can drain practically
Take
the right way down.
About 20% floor.
And the previous issue was obviously cold. Lithium didn't like cold, but now most of them, well, not most of them, a lot of them are fitted with inbuilt filters.
Yeah, heat plates in them. Yeah.
So kind of the myths of the past are not really there anymore.
It is quite a game changer, and like you said, pricing has come down massively. The days of £1,000 for a lithium battery, you can still spend £1,000 on a 100 amp lithium battery, 150 amp that you'll fit into the seat of these, but the prices have come down drastically. That they're not probably far off the price of putting an AGM or a really good gel battery in there. So yeah, we do quite a bit of lithium upgrade, and on motorhomes as well, because it amazes me that a 100-grand motorhome comes with a single battery in it.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So yeah, we do quite a bit of lithium upgrade on a lot of vehicles. But yeah, as I said, we're going to do it standard from next year, because things like the Leighton power packs, they're becoming more and more popular. We've done a couple of vans run off EcoFlows and stuff like that. It works really well, but ultimately, if you're not carrying that around with you all the time, you need another source. So lithium does offer you that opportunity.
Yeah, I've kind of got a few views on as far as the kind of the Clayton and the portable. But actually, I'm going to be having that conversation with one of your competitors, so I'm not going to discuss that today. Yeah. But no, as far as that kind of thing, that is becoming a lot more popular.
Yeah.
I mean, just briefly, I like the fact that, okay, the Clayton is a great system, but if I've got a portable system, if I have a power car at home, I can take it in my house.
Yeah.
Or I can put it down to the beach or wherever it is.
Yeah.
Well, obviously not my massive ones.
Yeah.
But I've got another video which isn't actually out yet, where I'm actually talking about different power packs, different sizes of these power packs, kind of different potential uses and things like that. And yeah, I do like the portable nature of it, but it's like the lithium, you know, it's not for everybody. Lithium batteries are not for everybody. Powerstations not for everybody. Clayton packs are not for everybody. You know, the pop tops, some people like a scenic pop top, some people don't. Some people don't want the pop top. They want a roof tent, which hopefully one day I will be talking about on my channel.
It's another alternative to it as well.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is you own it forever.
Yeah. And everybody's got these different choices, isn't it?
And I think that's the thing. You've got to bear in mind that when you build a van, or for whether it's yourself or you get somebody to build it for you, and I quite often say to people, I can advise you as much as I want, but ultimately you've got to live in the van day to day when you're away. So you don't want to sit in it and think, oh my God, I wish we'd gone for this or I wish we'd gone to that. So we'll build the van that you want. It's your van. You're spending whatever money you can afford to spend on it, and probably more, as most people do. But ultimately you want something that it's quite a confined space, so you want to be happy when you're in it as much as possible.
Yeah, and that is one of the benefits of, I mean, I do like my NCC approved conversions. You know, any long-term viewer of the channel will know that. But an NCC approved, once it's signed off, ticked off, etc., you've got your badge in it, that's kind of the conversion. And it is nice to kind of come to a U, and then you've got Eco Wagon at obviously a completely different end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, they're chucking everything at the van, but everybody's kind of got a different customer base. But I like the fact that you can go, well, actually, I don't really want that. You know, I could potentially have this instead. So it's great, just having that different choice, isn't it?
I think if your conversions are set in stone, then that doesn't appeal to everybody out there.
Yeah, it limits the market. I mean, it was at the NCC show, and I was filming a video, and somebody came to one of the stands and said, where's your long wheelbase conversion? And they said, no, sorry, we don't do one. And immediately that customer's like gone somewhere else because they don't do that. But obviously different companies have different markets, and they know what their product is and who's going to be buying it. And yeah, like this, you built this as exactly kind of how you want it, which we'll come on to in a minute. We can talk a little bit about what you've done to it, etc. But we're obviously approaching winter now. People are going to be coming in for diesel heaters. So how are you finding that at the minute? Are people coming to you saying, I want a diesel heater, what do you recommend? Or
yeah, I think we get a bit of call on that. We also get a few calls of, oh, well, I've bought a heater. Will you fit it?
Will you fit?
We only supply and fit our own heaters. Okay. So we get a few people picking up off Amazon or eBay or whatever it is, certain heaters. And for some people, they work absolutely brilliantly, but we're very much of the opinion we fit Autoterm as a standard. European built, 3-year warranty. We want to stand by the products that we fit, which is why we talked about lithium and stuff like that. So if we're going to stand by it, we'll only fit what we're comfortable fitting.
Yeah.
And I think, although for some people it's quite cost effective when they see a heater for a couple of £100, and yeah, it does look good value in terms of that.
Less than
yeah,
that.
Some of them are even less than that. Yeah, I mean, you can pick some up for less than £100 depending on the time of year. But we have removed quite a few of them over the years as well, and replaced them with something else, because I think by the time, for a lot of people, you upgrade a wiring harness and fuel lines and put a silent pump on it, and you want it externally mounted on the vehicle so it's out the way and quiet. You factor all that in plus a fitting cost, and actually you're probably not saving yourself a great deal of cost.
But kind of part of the problem is that people don't do that, and that's where I mean, I do like safety, but that's kind of where that problem arises, isn't when people don't do that and they are just fitting what arrives in the packet.
Yeah.
Whereas you speak to a lot of people and it's, no, that needs to be changed, that needs to be changed. But they're all different. You know, we can't really just tar them all with the same brush.
No, exactly. And there are some really good ones out there as well. But, you know, I think when you see them with like the diesel tank in the van to feed the heater, why would you want to be putting fuel inside the van when you're sleeping in it? I I definitely wouldn't want that. But yeah, like you said, it's not fair to tar out all of them with the same brush, because there are some really good ones out there. But back to that longevity thing, where you have to look at what's the long-term cost, and if I invest in it now, am I going to see that usage for a long period of time? So yeah, there is always that.
People got choices to want there. Like, I mean, you've got a good quality bed in this. Some people will fit a bed for, I mean, I've seen beds for like 1,500 quid, including kitchen units in some cases.
Yeah.
It's just like, really? That's just bonkersly cheap. But what is it exactly, you know, which you're getting? Again, it's choice.
How's it put together? Yeah. And everyone's building to a budget as well, within reason. You know, you've always got to set a budget as to what you want to build to. And I think for some people, if you're dealing with a converter, particularly like non-NCC approved, like yourself and like the majority of people, then it is always worth having that conversation about, well, what are the items that I'm getting fitted in my van as part of the conversion? You know, what's the branding, what's the warranty behind it, you know, who is it crash tested? All of those sort of bits are questions that need to be asked, because if you're going to put a passenger in the back, you at least want them to be as safe as possible in there as well. So yeah, and like you said, this has got the rib in it, and that is a premium bed. Really.
So let's talk about this then, whilst we're kind of talking about it now. So kind of, you've got the rib bed, which is, what is it, the
112 slider as well. It's got the slider. Yeah, it's got the slider on it as well to create a bit of boot space.
I mean, the rib bed is something which I like, in the fact that you've got that space behind, so you don't have to be putting stuff in between the driver and the passenger seat. See, God, I've seen some horror vans as far as that's concerned. Portable power station in between. You're like, what happens if something happened at that power station? Anyway,
where's the dog going? If then,
exactly.
Yeah. So we've gone for,
people don't strap in again. It needs to be strapped in.
Yeah, we've gone for a rib in this one. We offer the rib as like an option on our conversions. That or a Fabworks are our sort of two go-tos. Both are really good. The rib, obviously, you get the benefit of that little space in the back, and that's what I wanted for this van in particularly, because as the kids are getting older, the awnings get bigger, as you know. So yeah, when you've got a massive bag, you've got to carry that around somewhere as well. And also, if you do a lot of outdoor sports like paddleboarding, or we do a bit of surfing and stuff like that, you need somewhere to put everything. And the benefit of that is that you compromise a bit of space in the front of the bed, but you do gain the space in the rear. And that was the reason for the slider as well, is that I like the fact that it slides and it can bring the kids slightly closer. Not that you always want them that close, but no,
sometimes you want them in a U-shape, right at the back. Dad, joking, you don't want them right at the back of the van. I don't like that. But yeah, no, absolutely right. And then as far as, we've already talked about electrics, which is Victron, you've got solar panel, got seen the MPPT controls, so you've obviously got solar panel on it.
Yeah, it's got so it's got an MIPV solar panel, British built. Not a massive panel, 115 watt, but it sits right in the two ribs of the pop top, which is really neat, because then you don't necessarily see that it's there, and it doesn't add any more height to the van particularly. So yeah, Victron inverter under the seat to be able to run laptop and stuff like that. Nothing massive. I don't want anyone plugging an air fryer or hairdryer or anything like that into it, but if you want to run a laptop and bits and pieces, that works nicely for that. Dometic appliances in it as well, and the fridge supplied by Clearcut up in Barnstable. They do effectively a Dometic fridge that's in that. And then
fancy speaking to them guys, actually.
I've
seen them for a while. I've just seen that they've got a bed in crash testing. I think that's Clearcut, isn't it? They've got a bed which has just been through crash testing. So I'm actually quite interested in speaking to them.
Yeah, worth going up.
So, I'm not going to give away why, but yeah, I think they've got some good stuff up there.
Yeah. So and other than that, rib swivels, van shades and blinds all around the Fiamma awning on the side of it, and the furniture's in a light grey that almost looks white under the light, weirdly. And there's a lot of oak in there, just I like wood in the van.
I like the wood surfaces, and you've got the Havana swing out table, which is really quite good.
Yeah, that's a really nifty little bit of kit. And it's got a Lock-8 table in the door as well.
Is it the new one or the old one?
It's the new one, I think. Literally turned up last month, 2 weeks ago. So
I'll have a look in a second. The new one, you twist the top and it drops out.
No, it's the older one then in that case.
Oh, yeah.
Realise that.
There's not many of them around.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know about them. I'm not sure where they are with supply.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're quite few and far between.
Yeah, I haven't said that's the old one, but I just thought normally for away camping we'll carry like a couple of fold-up tables in the back, and they're never the most secure So that in the door actually is
It's
quite
perfect.
useful.
It's dead space.
Yeah.
Without the table, it's dead space. And I mean, I talk about the new one. The table's the same. It's just the manner of getting it out. So I mean, it's just easy. So you basically turn the knob, and it drops out from the top. Whereas obviously that one,
Slot it
you don't
up
mean
and
to
then
kind of
back,
slot it in, and you can sometimes. I mean, it's if you've got the knack, it's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a nice little.
Yeah, that is a
new
useful
catch, that.
feature. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a brilliant table because, like, you know, we could have it out here with our drinks or whatever.
it's really multi-purpose, which is what I quite liked about it as well. And normally we'll put like a door store in there, which that works quite well for tucking little bits and pieces away. But I'm always slightly nervous about the kids opening the doors with stuff hanging out and then they scratch the side of your van or something like that. So yeah, did that. Seats, there's a pair of captain seats in the front. The beds have all been upholstered in a grey leatherette with a really light grey Napa leather centre. Yeah, turned out great. Good looking van, great for taking shows and stuff like that. But
and pop top West Stubs.
Pop tops and West Stubs, yeah. So we do
Scenic.
Yeah, with the Scenic. Bedboard's done in the same colour as the furniture in there as well. Lightens it up. We fit a lot of West Stubs roofs. There's loads of good roofs on the market. We do a lot of West Stubs. We do a bit of Skyline as well. That's that sort of market for £4,000 for a roof, and then you're up to the other end of the scale for your Remos and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, it works well. And in terms of trying to build a van for
Did I see a roof?
a budget,
I think I saw a roof the other day for like £1,500, and you're like, £1,500 for a roof? Like, really? Fitted?
yeah,
Like, you're having a laugh. Like, what on earth? You know, it's even the prep work takes, you know, hours and hours and hours. It's not a case of how can they do it 15? I just unbelievable.
We've just started running the other workshop this morning. That's a whole morning to just to cut it and get all the steel work in and stuff.
So
like
half a day's labour.
Half a day's labour at least to prep, and that's on an empty van as well for a couple of us.
Yeah. So it wouldn't pay £1,500. Just wouldn't pay the bills, would it?
No, definitely not. Yeah. And also, you want to do a really good quality job at the end where it looks like it should have been in there. Like I said, for retrofits, you're trying to get it to look like it was in there from day one, and that's tricky. But there are ways to make it look almost like it was in there on day one. So you need a bit of time to do that.
You do, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's looking nice, and as is, I like the paintwork with it. I do like that. So styling wise, wheels, what have we done here?
Wheels, we did a bit with Wolf Race, so they supplied the wheels. The bronze works quite nicely with the dark blue. And then we've done Bilstein shocks, the standard like trapezoid sidebars that seem to be quite popular. And then we've done the Transporter HQ, full LED headlight upgrade, gloss grills, badges, dog bones in the middle, the splitter, and the new canards that they released as well. Because as much as I like the look of a Leighton's van, not everybody likes the price so much of the bumper all the time. And
no, well, I mean, my grill, I do have to say I got an absolutely great deal on it. I think it was like half price, although I have had it for about 12 months. If you are looking to buy it might not be £99 anymore. But the Badgeless grill, which you've just fitted, that was £99. Not everything's always expensive, but I like that Leighton's. But what I do like, Leighton's, if you're watching, I don't know if you do any loans of parts, but I wouldn't mind loaning some Champagne LV4s. Just a thought. The smaller ones, not the big ones, just the small ones with some off-road tyres. I do like them, I really do. No, it's a smart looking van, and I was looking around for the tyre rating, 106, happy with that. You know, I was just some of the vans which you just see around and you're like, 93, 93, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then the next thing you see on Facebook, pictures where the tyres are just completely, I've had a blowout, tyres shedded out. Yes, it wasn't load rated correctly, was it?
And they are, once they're done, they are quite heavy.
Yeah.
You know, you do add a bit of weight into them, maybe not as much as everyone thinks, but by the time you put in a bed and stuff like that, those ribs are...
The ribs are heavy.
The ribs are heavy. Yeah. Most decent rock and roll beds or bed systems, they will be fairly weighty in the back of the van. This started life as a combi because that sort of made sense that we wanted the pair of captains. Yeah. Standard leaky windows were in there from day one, even on 6.1, so they were all out. But yeah, it turned out really well. Looking forward to getting out in it some shows next year, and if anyone wants to feature it, it's available.
So, This is the T6.1, which isn't going to be around any longer. I'm not sure if you've seen the new T7. It's not the T7. I'm winding you up. It's the new Transporter, isn't it? What do you reckon?
I think it will take people a little bit of time to get used to it, but I remember when it went T5.1 to T6, and everyone went, "Oh, I don't like the 6. It's not very nice." And then people like Leighton's and THQ get hold of it and make it look a bit more attractive. But yeah, I think it will grow on people. I also think that the fact I used to work for VW for a number of years, and I think the fact that they've put a lot of weight behind warranty and servicing and stuff like that.
That's massive.
That's
I mean, because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I know some people have said they obviously don't trust the product. That's why they're giving 5 years. Well, actually, that's only going to cost them money if they were doing that. Surely it's a case of we're actually really quite confident with this product which we've got, so we're actually going to give you 5 years and 5 years servicing and 5 years breakdown. So if you do have a problem, so it's
we're there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm really quite pleased, and the fact that it is cheaper than the Ford Transit. Now I know different model ranges. I've not actually been through all the model ranges yet, but there will be variations in price.
Of course there will.
And I know that there's discounts, fleet discounts and things like that if people are looking and buying them for companies and things. And Ford historically have done big discounts. VW haven't given the same kind of discounts. So the price is, the price is the price. Everybody expected it to be more. It's a bonus that it's less. But what the main factor is that 5 year warranty. It is just, that's really gives you that peace of mind, doesn't it?
Massive peace of mind, especially for high mileage users and people that have got campers as well, which you want to be away enjoying it and not worrying about what if I have an issue. And I think that backup speaks a lot for them as a brand. In terms of the van, it will grow on people, but let's wait and see when we finally see it early part of next year as to what it really looks like in the flesh. And I'd imagine it will drive really well.
I've seen a picture of it in the flesh with some mods. So I'll be showing that at some point very soon. I quite like it. So,
I think it'll grow on people, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
If you didn't see that video, which I did, talking about that new Transporter, which I personally really quite like, then you can have a look at it here. Take care, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon.